All right, everyone. What's going on? How are we doing? We're going to talk the National League East tonight. As you can see, we have up-and-coming baseball YouTuber Jolly Olive. What is going on, my friend? How's your day been? How you doing?
I had an interesting day. I had work today, and I had to drive in like a torrential downpour, which was not fun. I'm in Jersey, so all the drivers were super mean as I was going slow on the highway, but I made it back alive, so we're good.
Well, my best friend is actually from New Jersey, and he would tell me all the time about driving up in New Jersey all the time. That itself is already annoying.
Not a good
so. Yeah.
Oh, they're already starting the Omar Narvaez meme in the chat. I already see it.
Are we getting that already?
We're getting there already.
Oh man, I'll tell you, the one thing about the baseball community that I really love is everyone's the people that consistently come out and just watch the streams. They're always like they're so great in the chat.
Yeah, they're always ready to meme.
You get some mean ones along the way.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Everyone is just rather wonderful for the most part.
No,
so
they're good eggs, all of them.
Well, it's funny you mentioned the torrential downpour last week. I don't know if you know, I'm a teacher, but
no, I didn't know. Very nice.
No, yeah, I teach second grade. I don't know how
I
stick with the second graders. That's as much as my mental capacity can handle.
Robbie, we're very similar. I'm an education guy at college, and the plan was always do baseball YouTube and then teach if it's not enough money.
Oh yeah, man, that's awesome. Yeah, man. If you ever have any questions about teaching or whatever,
absolutely,
let me know.
I might back up that tree.
I've been doing it for 7 years now. 7 years. We're doing the hybrid classroom this year. I got kids at home, and we got kids in the classroom too.
Okay, interesting.
It's been rather interesting. But all righty, let's start. Let's just get right to it. So we're talking the National League East. If you are new here, think about hitting that subscribe button. We're talking baseball here.
You should do it. Robbie just hit 6K. Congratulations.
I know. So it has been a really slow month. Thank you. I appreciate that. And it has been a really slow month with I feel like it was like that last year too.
I think it's like the whole month before the season type thing. I don't know.
Last year, I mean, the season did shut down last year, during spring training, but I remember leading in like the first couple of weeks of spring training that they had. I remember it was slow. Did you have a channel at that point last year?
Last year, no. I've been active since September. Oh, we already got a dono. Nice.
Ooh, we got a little dono here. Is that down in the chat? Ooh, and we can show the comments here.
Yeah,
look at that.
Perfect.
This is what I wish Streamlabs had. I wish they had a bit more of like this is simple.
I
just got to learn
my layout, but I like having the chat in the corner so you can see yourself,
Oh, you can put the chat in the corner?
I don't know if you can on here, but on OBS.
Oh, yeah. On Streamlabs, I have the little box. It doesn't look all that great, but already, Michael Yanks Braves will win this division. I mean, I think the man Jolly Olive might have something to say about that, and I might have something to say about that. That's
who I picked when I did my NL East predictions. I picked the Braves still.
Yeah. I'll tell you, my predictions are not set in stone, and as I've done with the division previews. Guys, these are just previews. These are not my predictions by any means. I could go to bed tonight and I could completely change my mind. I could pick the Marlins to win this division tomorrow morning.
It wouldn't be. I don't even think that'd be the worst pick in this division.
I mean, we'll get to the teams here. But since this is my first time ever having a guest on the show, I'm going to let you pick. I've kind of had I've picked the teams where I'm going to talk about, I've given I've done an order before I even start, but I don't have any order tonight. I'm going to let you pick the first team. You pick the team that you want to talk about first.
Should I go with the team that I think is going to finish in last place?
You'd go whatever with your heart desires, my friend.
All right,
whatever team you want.
In that case, because I do like irking fans of this fan base since they just got a ring, so I don't feel bad for them at all. Let's start with the Washington Nationals.
Ooh, okay. We'll start with the Washington Nationals. There we go.
Ooh, nice and quick on the switch. I like it.
Man. All right. So we could get the intro video going. Oh, wait. How do I get that? Oh, Michael Yanks, again, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate that.
You're a beast.
There we go. Hiding the super chat. So starting off with the Washington Nationals, I've been using Fangraphs to help me out with all of these previews. Their depth charts, man, they're just so nicely laid out and everything. They're just wonderful to use. Alrighty, here we go. Back to you guys. Alrighty, so I can also share my screen.
Yeah, why don't you pull that
on here too? So
I'm gonna pull my little Excel sheet that I did for my comparisons or whatever, just because I have all the stats there.
Yeah, I dig the spreadsheets, man. I like how you use the
they
spreadsheets.
are a bitch to like put together and get together, but I just like
Yeah,
the way they look, so I go through the trouble.
yeah, man. I get that.
Mm,
All right, so here we go. Gonna share the screen here.
go for it.
All righty,
There we go.
so
Okay, whoa.
all
Hey,
right, are we
there
good?
we
Ooh,
go.
got some nice
Ooh,
fresh
nice
boxers
product
there.
placement. A little
If you
bit of
need
a
a
product
little
placement.
Fangraphs,
Nice.
man, they know
Okay.
that. They know how to do that product
They
placement,
know
man.
what's up.
Alrighty, so okay, here we go. Washington Nationals. So, to me, this has been an interesting team this offseason. They've added some pretty good pieces. We go back to the offseason tracker here.
Yeah.
So, taking a look, I mean, the guy that jumps right off for me, Josh Bell, adding him for the lineup.
Having a pretty good spring.
Yeah, he is. And so, if we go take a look how he did in the last year, like I said, he had a big 2019 last year, though, kind of really fell off a little bit.
Yeah.
Had the 226 average, the 305 on base. Still, had a few home runs still, but it wasn't really
It was really the story of the first half of 2019 for Josh Bell. And then it kind of fell off pretty much when June rolled around.
Yeah. I mean, he was in the home run derby too, right?
Yeah, he was. I think he was a first round exit.
Yeah. So if the Nationals can kind of get back to even if you can get 25, 30 home runs, even that, I think that's going to be pretty good bat. If you can get back to getting on base like he was, even like he was in 2018 as well.
Yeah, the thing about him is that they want that production out of Schwarber, which is why they went out and they got him to just, hit like whatever, 250, 230 and hit just 30 bombs, 40 bombs. Yeah. Bell, I think they're really banking on him like honing that first half 2019 form. Because there's been bits and spades of it, but never really anything consistent since then. And that he's going to be their opening day, like 4-hitter. So they kind of need him to just like produce because his defense is already a detriment to his production in the first place.
Yeah. That's one reason, I'm a defense kind of a guy too. And it's like, to me, if they are just hindering you defensively,
you gotta remember the 2019 Nationals team that won the title had great defense across the board.
Yeah, they did. They did have some good defense across the board. And I think that's something that was kind of overlooked a little bit with that team.
Yeah.
They just kind of did the fundamentals right. And they had, the good pitching and they had the good defense and, the guys showed up when it mattered in the bullpen. And so,
also, is there a way to get us up on this desktop? I don't know how Streamlabs.
Yeah, I was kind of looking at that. I'm like, let me see.
Is there a way to get us both?
There we go. Here.
Oh,
wait, no, that's not it.
I think there's like a way you can like position us. Mets fan who's in chat might know how to do this. Actually, I'm not sure.
I am completely useless when it comes to StreamYards. Streamlabs, I feel like I've got it figured out for the most part. But if I'm sharing the screen, so like if I click back here,
are you seeing what I'm down there? I can't see your screen right now. No.
No, you can't see it. I don't know how. So
Jacob Law says, "Go back to screen share. I can help."
Go back to screen share.
Yeah.
Share. Oh wait,
you did something there. You did something. Oh, you're big.
Oh, here we go. There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
This is what I want. Perfect.
All right, now let me look at it on the. How does it look on here? Again, there we go. Cool.
Okay.
I think that's good enough. I think you got the gist of it.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I like that. But like you said, Josh Bell, he is projected for the number 4 hole right now. I really like this lineup overall. I mean, obviously you got Juan Soto, who a lot of people are picking for MVP this year. Did you go with him for MVP this year?
That was my pick.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people are leaning that way. I mean, he had like almost. Let me pull up the stats from last year with Juan Soto.
If he did the false COVID test, then he probably takes home MVP last year.
Oh my god! I mean, the guy had almost a 500 on base.
Yeah,
I mean it was insane. That was insane. I mean, and it seemed like he did miss like a lot more games, but he missed 13 games,
and he was healthy in all of them, which is the real shame.
Yeah.
Even if you're an NL East fan and you hate the Nationals or whatever because they're a rival to your team, Juan Soto is just like a fun player to watch.
Oh man, I mean, just seeing the Soto shuffle, not too long ago, that was just like, what? Who the heck is this guy?
19-year-old kid in the World Series.
It was just like, just he's insane. I definitely think the way people pick Mike Trout for the MVP in the American League, I think people are like that with Juan Soto. I think that's it. I mean, just look at what he did. I mean,
and I know that they were in the World Series in 2019, and they still had odds to be there in May and stuff like that. But I think this upcoming season is going to be one of the most pressurized seasons for Juan Soto because I don't know, man. A lot of people believe in the upside of this lineup, but when I look at it, what I see is what you're getting out of Juan Soto. You're getting an MVP caliber season. Mm-hmm. You know what you're getting out of Trey Turner. He's going to hit 300. He's going to give you an 800 plus OPS. He's going to steal a bunch of bags. He's going to play a good shortstop. And then after that, it's a bunch of ifs for me.
Yeah.
Some guys have good gloves, but a lot of ifs at the plate.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Starlin Castro is one of them. He's kind of reminds me like a poor man's Javier Baez in a way. Maybe not as much power. But like the on base, he doesn't get on base as well. Kyle Schwarber to me is a huge what if. The power.
You want him to hit above 250, which isn't even asking that much. But he's him being in left field every day is such a detriment to their outfield defense, which has been so good.
Right, and that's and getting back to Juan Soto too. Do you think that the move to right field could maybe kind of hinder his season a little bit?
I don't Juan Soto isn't great defensively, and I'm sure he'll be making the move to first base at some point in his career. Not soon, because he's still a very young kid.
Yeah.
But he has to go out there and have his best defensive season because they have an anchor in left field in Kyle Schwarber. Victor Robles is very good, but I don't know if you know this, but Victor Robles bulked up a lot for the 2020 season to get better with the bat. It hurt his defense, and his bat didn't get better. So I don't know what his defense is going to look like this season. Yeah. But I don't know. That Nats outfield defense does not cover a lot of ground, and the outfield at Nationals Park is pretty large, especially in center field.
Right. It's funny you're talking about the bulking up. I just immediately thought Andrew Benintendi.
Yeah.
Immediately, because that's what he did, and he tried to add on some weight. He tried to be more of a power guy.
And that just messes up your mechanics.
Yeah, he just kind of went all over the place at that point. And Andrew Benintendi, his bread and butter was the gap hit, the gap line drives. Having some speed. Not have that occasional home run. 15, 20 home runs. And then he got away from that, and hopefully that does not happen to Victor Robles. But I was looking at Juan Soto's defense. The defensive runs above average over the last few years have not been good, and that's in left field. Yeah. So some right as well. I think he's played some right over the last.
He played some right last year. Right was his main position.
Oh yeah, let me look at the numbers for right field last year. So he played 6 games in right. If we take a look, -1 defensive runs saved.
Yeah.
And again, it's not a big sample size, but in the negatives, he's been in the negatives pretty much everywhere. So, going to be interesting. Right field is definitely more a demanding position. Going to be interesting. I kind of wonder, is that, you just know, when some of these guys, they move different positions, can that, maybe affect their mentality a little bit, kind of just mess with him a little bit. And hopefully
Juan Soto oozes confidence. I don't think it's going to hinder him as much as it would a more average MLB player. But I think we were talking about what ifs in this lineup because I think they're littered everywhere with Starlin Castro, Kyle Schwarber, Josh Bell. I think the biggest one, maybe besides Josh Bell, they really need Josh Bell to be good if they want to compete, is Carter Kieboom. Time's running out on this kid. His defense isn't fantastic, and he has just not figured things out at the plate over the past 3 years. He's been given a lot of chances, battled some injury and stuff, but it's go time. It's time to go for Carter Kieboom. If he doesn't show up in the first 2 months of the season, I think they're just going to scrap him, play Starlin at third, and figure something else out at second.
Yeah, he was a top prospect coming into 2019 or coming into 2020. He was definitely one of the top prospects before 2019 as well. He's showed some flashes. It's just he just hasn't put it together. I would say the on base last year was pretty decent.
Yeah.
So, over how many games here? 33 games.
Just compared to the rest of the third baseman in the division, though, Alec Boehm is going to be awesome. We'll talk about him later. Brian Anderson's dope for the Marlins. He's a really good player. Austin Riley still has a ton of upside, in my opinion. JD Davis, his glove is getting better. Kieboom is dead last in a player comparison at that position. So the Nats really need him to just be at least an average hitter.
Yeah. I think, when I look at a guy like a Carter Kieboom, I've made this comparison a lot where, the rookie guys, first, how many games they play. It can take them a little bit to get going.
Yeah.
I've made this comparison before. Dustin Pedroia back in 2007, even 2006 when he came up in late September that year. Dustin Pedroia had a horrible start to his career.
Yeah. As a Mets fan, JD Davis was hated his first month in the Mets uniform because he didn't produce, and he was from the Astros, and he was a Brody Van Wagenen guy, and he couldn't play defense. So it was tough, but he adjusted. He had playing time. He stayed healthy. He was in the lineup every day. He adjusted. So I think if Keyboom doesn't have solid numbers at May, I think they're going to cut the cord. I don't think they have time to let him fully adjust over a full season.
Right. And then, and if maybe a possible trade or something comes up, I mean, maybe you're hearing his name in trade talks this past off season.
Yeah.
Or I don't know how serious that was, but his name was popping up.
His value was a lot higher than, in my opinion.
Right. Exactly. So going to be interesting. I definitely think that, like you said, May, maybe even June. I think they'll go. They'll give him an opportunity. Because last year too, the COVID season, the shortened season, the messed up spring training, especially for like a young guy like this. In my opinion, if I was like a guy, how old is Carter Keyboom now? He's I'm 24 years old.
Yeah.
Like I'm 30 years old, and that it's so whack that a guy is 24 years old. This is playing in the major leagues, but if I was in that, 24-year-old me, if I'm like, if my spring training gets cut off like that,
you're scared shitless, man.
Yeah, man. It's such a routine thing, especially for like a younger player like this. Mm-hmm. They're just trying to find that routine. So I don't know. I believe in him. I do like the on base, while everything else kind of stunk. I mean, 344 on base, I'm okay with that. That's not bad. I think that's a good sign.
I mean, he's going to be hitting in the 8 hole probably.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of pressure on him.
Like I don't know. I don't know what the other option is though. Like I know they have like Luis Garcia as a backup for Castro right now, so maybe he slots in at second. Castro goes to third.
Yeah,
but in terms of this Nats lineup, it's my least favorite in the division, with a good upside, with a pretty good upside. But I don't know.
Yeah, so I think this Nationals lineup it's full of upside, like you're saying.
Yeah.
They got some guys that can be very, very productive in here. Like I love Trey Turner. I think Trey Turner could you maybe see Trey Turner be a top 10 MVP vote getter kind of a guy.
100%, especially when you look at his WAR totals from the past 2 seasons.
Yeah,
especially I think that his best season's probably still in front of him, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah.
He's a table setter guy, and we haven't seen a table setter guy win MVP since like Jimmy Rollins in 07.
Ooh.
But I mean, him and Soto are just such a knockout tandem. I wish the Nats went out and got Nolan Arenado, honestly. That would have convinced me of this team, because then it would have been that trifecta. It would have fixed your third base problem for sure. Yeah. Rockies probably would have took Keyboom. I know that's a pipe dream now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That would have made me believe in this team 1,000% more.
Yeah. Like I said, yeah, I agree with you. Lineup has the potential to be a really good lineup, in my opinion. Really, with the strength of this team, it's going to get back to the starting pitching.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I love Max Scherzer, probably top three player in the game for me right now. I love Max Scherzer. I love him. When he was with the Tigers going up against the Red Sox in 2013, forget that. I hated Max Scherzer. I couldn't stand him.
Come on.
But the guy, man, dude, just whenever I saw the black eye or whatever, and I'm seeing this guy just striking out guys, I'm like, all right, that's it.
Literally, so it's vicious. Like
that's all I need.
It's such a good
just a bulldog on the mound, man. Love Max Scherzer. He's awesome.
Like the Nats are just such an upside team through and through, man. When I look at this lineup too,
and
we can talk the Strasburg injury from last year, so he's coming back from that. I think he had a setback, but he'll be fine for opening day.
Oh,
Scherzer's velo is a little bit down. I think he's like 36 this season or something. He's a little bit up there. This is like the last year of his contract.
Yep.
And then Corbin kind of had a rough 2020, but a really good 2019 for them.
Yes.
And then John Lester, who's on the fringe of Father Time. This is probably his last season to be somewhat effective. So if you get the positives from all those guys, it has the capability to be the best rotation in the division.
Yeah.
But man, so much banking going on.
I think this Nationals team, I think, you know, as you guys know, or as you know as well, obviously the Mets have had one of the better off seasons in recent memory that I can think of. The Braves added some pretty good pieces, coming one win away from a World Series. I think this Nationals team, they're kind of being, in my opinion, I think slept on a little.
Yeah,
but again, everyone knows the upside with this team, but I think I wouldn't be surprised to see this Nationals team in first place going into September. I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be totally surprised. Like you could picture any team in first place in the NL.
Right.
That's just why, like, what makes it the most entertaining division in baseball.
Yes.
I just think with how old the Nationals are and how battered they were last season, just so many things will need to go right for this team. And they'll need to make a trade too, I think, honestly.
And speaking of trades, you know, could you now, and then you can go the other way too, where if this Nationals team, like I said, the upside's there, but if this team's out of it, could you maybe see this team start making some trades? Like
I think they might flip. They maybe flip Scherzer. Which is super weird, and Nats fans don't want to hear it. But if they're in last at the deadline, which I think they will be, I know I'm a pessimist with this team. I don't see the upside like other people do.
Yeah.
If they're there at the deadline, I think you deal Scherzer, because Scherzer's going to be having a good season if he's healthy. Like, that's just who Max Scherzer is.
Right.
And you don't want to lose out value on him, especially when you're playing catch up with some really good NL East teams where I just think that you won't be able to catch them. Right. I don't think they trade him to a division rival just out of courtesy to their fans, but there's a ton of landing spots you could go to.
Man, I just picture this. Do you remember a couple years ago where the Yankees were connected with Max Scherzer?
Yeah, of course. And I think they're a possible landing spot this time around too.
Yeah. Could you imagine that? Like,
because they're always prepping for injury and stuff like that.
I mean, my best friend Josh, the one that I was talking about earlier from New Jersey, a big Yankees fan. He is like wanted Max Scherzer for so long.
How could you not, dude?
He was he actually for the longest time growing up, he always wanted Troy Tulowitzki. He was like, man, that's it. He's the guy.
And then they got him for like 20 at bats.
And then because he was saying that when he was like in his prime with the Rockies, he's like, God, man, I want Troy Tulowitzki. But then they finally got him, and he was so pumped when they got him, and they ended up doing nothing. So
and then he retired.
He's kind of like that with Max Scherzer now, where hey, this Scherzer could be a difference maker. Depends. Strasburg, he's gonna be there for the long haul. Man, do they? I don't know. I don't think they would deal a Corbin if they were out of it.
No, Corbin still has plenty of years.
A ton of money left.
Yeah, so he's there to stay.
Yeah, so
that contract, like, it was worth it because it got them a ring, but it still surprises me how much money he got.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, when you think of Patrick Corbin, I mean, man, 140.
He's an ace on some teams, but damn, that's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, $23 million a year. It's that's a lot, man. So I don't know. Like, you can definitely. He was good, but like, I don't know. I don't know if that was worth it. But
what about their bullpen?
Yeah, getting to the bullpen. So that was the one thing where they did address a little this offseason, Brad Hand. So Brad Hand is interesting because, the numbers have been there, but the expected numbers have started to kind of maybe go in the other direction, based off of the velocity. He doesn't give up still a lot of hard contact, but he's given up some more hard hit balls here and there. And we saw that in the playoffs too.
Yeah. I still think Hand would have thrived most in a closer by committee situation where he can pitch to the three that are best suited for his skill set.
Yeah.
He wanted to be the closer, and that's why the Nats got him. Respect for that. Go get your money.
Yeah.
I really like Tanner Rainey. I think he's going to be good for them. I thought he was going to be the closer this year until they got Hand. And then after that, it's just a bunch of upside guys.
I mean, you got a Daniel Hudson where they brought him back last year. He did pretty good in the postseason.
Yeah.
I mean, he had a pretty good 2019 overall. The 2.47 ERA, FIP right below a 4. XFIP actually was pretty high right there. But you got
another guy getting a little bit up there in age.
Yes. What is he now? He's almost 35 years old now. So, I think he could be a pretty decent setup man. I mean, he's shown he can pitch. So, last year, I think the Nationals, if there's one team where you could, or coming off a World Series, they picked the best year to have just like a reset kind of a year.
Yeah.
Man. So it was horrible pick on my end last year. I picked the Nationals to get to the World Series and play the Yankees
for 2020.
Yeah, I went with it. I went with a bold one.
I mean, beginning of the season, it didn't look bad, honestly.
I mean, I love the way they looked on paper. It just did
Yeah.
not work out.
Yeah, no.
So,
well, Strasburg pitched like 2 innings and then he was done. So
yeah, exactly. So
not much you can do about that. Yeah,
I
if
think
one of the three-headed monster goes down, you can write off the Nats, in my opinion.
Yeah, so I think we have common ground where we see this Nationals team. There's a lot to like.
Yeah,
There's a lot of upside.
To like. I don't want to like just blatantly say they're a bad team. I just don't like betting on teams with upside.
Yeah, it's because you get hurt more often than not. Exactly. So it's gonna be interesting. I think this team, they have all the potential in the world to do good, but then they could also be just a complete seller at the deadline. So hey, I'm gonna be looking out for my guy John Lester, man. I'm
definitely a toss up. Yeah, I don't know.
Looking out for Lester, man. I'm hoping he does well.
I'm giving a lot of these Cubs guys a second chance just because I think the Cubs were just so like out of it in terms of they didn't have their fans there last year and they just didn't play as well. Yeah. And Lester, I think, is a guy that thrived behind the Cubs audience. So I don't know. He might have one more good season left, and he could.
I hope so, man. I'll always have a soft spot for John Lester.
Yeah, of course.
Former Red Sox. He could get a 7 ERA, and I'll be like, nope, throw him out there. Get him. Nope.
Get him out. Let's
John Lester. No, he's my man. The guy could have an ERA in the 12s. And I'm still throwing Lester in a game 7.
Because why not, baby?
But
why not?
Alrighty, let's move on here. Washington Nationals. Well, I gotta ask the chat. Where do you guys think the Nationals are gonna finish?
I saw some third place. I saw some 5th place. I haven't seen any first place love for the Nationals.
Yep.
Yeah.
How do I get back? Or let me show comments here. Okay, so
I think you can do like a steady stream where it shows every new comment or something like
that. Say that again for me.
I think you can have it show every like most recent comment. I'm not sure.
I don't know. Let me. I'm guessing is that one guy still in the chat where he can?
I think that's man left, but I can see what they're writing right now.
Yeah, like
I'm seeing mostly 3rd and 5th.
Yeah. So I'm seeing a 4th. Yeah, I think 3rd. I think that's a pretty reasonable one, a preseason pick of 3rd place. I think. Oh, Chairman with the 26th place finish. Oh man,
I'm guessing that's like MLB overall. I'm hoping. I don't know, man.
Oh man. So, we got retro baseball here in the chat too. Hello.
What's going on, retro?
What's going on, man? How are we doing? Alrighty, so let's move on here. Let's get to the next team. I'll pick the next one.
Yeah,
we'll stick with a fun one here. So, let's talk about the Miami Marlins.
Yes.
This was, in my opinion, one of the most storied teams last year. I forgot how foolish baseball. He had a term for this Marlins team. They were this. I forget. I don't know. I'm going to call them the COVID team because this team, they just found a way to get to the playoffs and they took advantage of that shortened season. It just worked out like for
amazing
them.
Story.
It's crazy, and then beating the Cubs. Nuts, man. It's really fun, or it was really fun watching this Marlins team. There's a lot of things to
hard
like
not
about
to root
Marlins
for them
team.
down the stretch. It really was.
Yeah, it was fun, and I loved the Starling Marte move at the trade deadline.
Very unexpected. Like I knew the D-backs were trying to ship him out, and the Marlins ended up being a perfect landing spot for him. Just really didn't expect it.
Yeah, I did. I wasn't seeing it, and because I didn't think they were even going to go get anyone, and it was like, oh, okay, and now, when you put him in, because they have like decent pieces, but they didn't really have like that bona fide like kind of a name, like they had some respectable pieces. You got like guys like a Brian Anderson there, and
they had guys that had been with them for a while, but I think they made themselves serious by going out and trading for Starling Marte.
Right. So I like it. What happened with him last year? Did he break a finger?
I think he got injured like right before the postseason. I don't remember exactly what.
I don't remember what it was, but it was something that he was out of the playoffs, right?
Yeah, he wasn't there for the playoffs.
Yeah, that'll be fun to see him. I mean, he's projected for 24 stolen bases this year. That's pretty good. I mean, they're getting some decent projections. I mean, nothing crazy, but there are some fun things to look at. You got Jazz Chisholm there, projected for second base. So
love me some Jazz Chisholm. Like his upside so much.
Oh yeah, I mean, honestly, I'm gonna go take a look.
He was the return when the Marlins flipped Zach Gallen to the Diamondbacks.
Ooh,
so,
man.
That looks like a horrible move at the time because Gallen had like maybe a 2 ERA and 10 starts for them, and they just traded him.
Yeah.
But that return is good. Jazz Chisholm is going to be a good player.
Yeah, he's the number 4 prospect as of right now. Speaking
Yep.
of Gallen, did you see today where he has a fracture in his arm?
Yeah, dude. Of course, like he's gonna be sidelined for I think a month or something like
Yeah,
that,
that's a
maybe even
wacky.
longer. But I'm glad we're preserving strategy in the game. I'm glad. Super, super cool that MLB is making pitchers hit.
Yeah,
Super cool.
I know. It's
super cool.
I can't. We need the universal DH, man. Yeah. And exactly. He got hurt. I guess he didn't even get hit by a pitch. I guess he was
just swinging. He could throw fine, but when he swung a bat, that's
it was like did he do like a check swing or something like that?
Something like that. I didn't catch the game.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Spring training. And that's lame, man. Especially like a guy like him. Like he was on my fantasy team last year, and he was just giving me points all across the board. And, a young pitcher like that, I think could be like a dark horse Cy Young kind of a guy.
I have him at 3rd in my NL Cy Young picks.
Yeah, I love Zach Gallen. Guy's awesome. But so that's tough to see. But back to the Marlins. Jazz Chisholm, number 4. I mean, Sixto Sanchez. I mean, let's get to the pitching.
That's the money.
I really like the rotation. I think this is the bread and butter for this team. You got some talent in this rotation. I mean, Sixto Sanchez obviously is the upside guy here.
I might honestly be comfortable calling them like the best rotation depth wise in this division.
Oh yeah,
and I think their 1 through 5 are all solid options.
Yeah, and one guy, I'm telling you, I love Eliezer Hernandez, man.
Me too.
I love Eliezer Hernandez. This was a guy where he was doing really good last year until I believe he got hurt.
Or he had like a blow up start in there that kind of inflated all his stats.
Let me go back. So, yeah, he was doing really good. He had 6 starts and ERA in the low 3s. This was a guy I had as a breakout guy last year.
Yeah.
And he just couldn't get through a full season. Guy's got a nasty changeup. Look at the strikeouts per 9 last year.
What was
the walks under 2? I mean, goodness. The guy was really good.
11.
It's funny because he doesn't throw very hard, but he has a ton of movement. Like he has like Pedro Martinez changeup vibes.
Yeah.
Like that kind of like just that wackadoodle.
They're also just great, like entertainment wise. Like watching Sixto pitch against the Cubs in the playoffs was just so awesome.
What I love is that you got like kind of like just a different kind of a picture, like all the way through here. Yeah. Like Pablo Lopez. I mean, Sandy Alcantara is like more of like a ground ball kind of a guy. Where Sixto, he's just going to come at you with gas and just all this different types of movement. And
I think look out for Trevor Rogers. He's updated his repertoire. He's very crafty. Yeah. Very solid number 5 for them.
Yeah. Absolutely. And last year, I mean, the ERA was high, but the FIP was a lot better last year. So Trevor Rogers, to me, this is a breakout kind of a guy. Like
I think so.
A guy that can really come onto the scene. I mean, look at the XFIP, a 3.67 XFIP.
It's got good stuff, dude.
This is the kind of guy where you see the FIP, the XFIP, and you see it how much better it is than the ERA. That's a good sign. Yeah. So I think, especially with the strikeout numbers, the walks could be a little lower, but the home runs were fine. I think Trevor Rogers could end up being a really, really big boost for this rotation. I like this Marlins rotation a lot.
I like the Marlins rotation. I feel like people are unfairly sleeping on their lineup as well.
Yeah,
when I look at their lineup and the Nationals lineup side by side, I feel like I pick the Marlins a little bit more. Like I really like the tandem of Jesus Aguilar and Garrett Cooper over Josh Bell. I think that's a better option, honestly, righty lefty, that type of thing.
Oh, Garrett Cooper's a fun one too, man.
I think Jazz Chisholm is way more exciting at second base than Starlin Castro is. Brian Anderson's solid at 3rd over Carter Kieboom. Trey Turner is Trey Turner and Juan Soto is Juan Soto. But Starling Marte has pretty much the same defense as Robles. Robles is obviously a better defender, but has a much better bat. I don't know, man. Like Jorge Alfaro over Yan Gomes, like all these things. Like I just feel like the Marlins get slept on because they're a basement dweller. They have been forever. And then they made the playoffs in the one fluke season. But I think they have a better team than the Nationals.
Yeah, I think this Marlins team, I wouldn't be surprised to see them in the 80 wins. I wouldn't be surprised about that.
That wouldn't shock me at all. I think they're a 500 team.
Yeah, I think I like a lot of this team. The bullpen, you kind of have some. I mean, you got like some decent projections lined up here, like Anthony Bass right now.
They have proven guys for the first time in a while. They have Yami Garcia, Anthony Bass. They don't have a star in the bullpen, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, they kind of just have. I mean, they had Kinsler go off to Philly.
Which would have been an easy retain for them. So I was bummed to see them not make that move. Then also for him to go to a division rival.
I think bringing in Dylan Floro is pretty good.
That's a good move.
This
Dodgers
is a guy
cast
who's just
off.
in the World Series this past year.
Yeah.
So
you want guys in your bullpen with playoff experience that have been in the game on the big stage before.
Yeah, Flora was actually really good last year. I mean, he wasn't like a big name out of the bullpen, but during the regular season, he just doesn't strike out a lot of guys. He's not like that, like the Brusdar Gratterall that throws 100 miles an hour.
And the Dodgers bullpen is just so crowded that guys like Dylan Floro get forgotten about.
Yeah, but I mean, 25 games last year. This was a guy that was on pace to be, kind of what he did in 2018, like 50 plus games, even more than that. He was on pace. But yeah, he had a good year last year. I think that was a good pickup for the Marlins. I like this Marlins team. I think this is it's another high upside team, and it just adds to the fact that it's another team that is in this very fun to watch division. They just make it that much more fun.
Competition's fierce. I think if you put the Marlins in the NL Central, their chances get better, just in terms of
right.
The way the pitchers that their hitters will get to go up against, because the pitchers are so good in the NL East that your lineup needs to be dynamite. And I do like their lineup, but it's definitely not the best in the division. I think that their ceiling is third, and I think a strong third.
They also added one guy we didn't mention was Duvall.
That was their pickup.
That was their pickup. The guy had some power numbers last year, man. 16 home runs over 57 games. So that guy was on pace for 35, 40 home runs last year.
Yeah.
He was driving in runs. The on base was a little low. So that's why
he's a big pull guy too, and left field's a little deep at Marlins Park.
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried to see how he does this season, especially because he got the bag. And typically when players get the bag, their production goes down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I still like the pickup because it was 1 year, $4 million or something. So a nice snag for the Marlins.
And who knows, maybe, this is a young team too.
Yeah.
So, it's funny actually, when you look at the lineup is actually not that young as you would think. You got
there's a decent mix there.
Yeah, you got some young guy like Chisholm's 23, and then it's just funny. You would think this lineup is a lot younger overall, but it's Dickerson's 32, Marte's almost 33. You got Aguilar's almost 31, Duvall's almost 32.
Yeah.
I always forget how much older Miguel Rojas is.
Yeah, he's been there for a while, man.
Yeah, I know. It's really where they're young is the pitching. So the starting pitching, man. That's why this Marlins team, look out for this team in the next few years, man.
Sneaky.
But yeah. So let me know in the chat, everyone. Let us know. What do you guys think? What are you thinking here? Where do you think?
I got him at third. I got him at a very optimistic third place.
Yes. I'm gonna go. Well, I don't know. I'm not.
I don't know. You're gonna lock.
I don't do my predictions yet. I don't do the predictions.
It's a big proposition there, man.
It's cause I don't want to say last because I don't want to because then it sounds insulting in a way because that's just how.
I mean, somebody in the division has to finish last.
That's what I mean.
I don't think any of these teams finish last in any other division.
Yeah, it's this last place team is going to be probably the best last place team in the entire all of Major League Baseball.
Yeah, that's how you can lock that in because what's their competition? The Rangers, the Orioles, the Tigers.
Yep.
Pirates, and then maybe the Rockies.
Yeah, you should be very excited about this Marlins team, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm leaning towards bottom of the division just because of how just competitive this division is. So, but I'm seeing a lot of fourth place finishes.
Nice. I'm glad I could switch out a little bit.
So Tremont Productions. He's saying fifth AAA team. He's not too high on the Marlins.
Jeez.
So, alrighty, but we're gonna save for me. Would you like to talk about the Phillies next?
I think so. I think we'll save Mets Braves for last.
I think this is what we're gonna do because you are. How long have you been watching the Mets? By the way,
I was christened a Mets fan from birth, but I've been actively watching the team since 2008.
Yeah. So I figured for because of the special occasion that this is, we'll save the Mets for last.
All right,
we'll go for the Braves second to last, and we'll go to the Phillies here. So here, let's pull up the little graphic here.
Very
okay,
nice.
All righty, look at that. So
Very nice.
The Phillies. This is another. It's a team that I want to pick to win. Because they have talent on this team. I don't know. I just don't know if this team is really.
They confuse me because I think that I know there's like, obviously, if there's any Phillies fans in chat, this is not what they would want to hear. But I think that 2021 would have been like a very good time for them to maybe start like a minor rebuild.
Yeah.
I know they have a ton of money locked into like the Harper contract, but they just finished the Arrieta contract. They wouldn't have had to re-sign JT, but obviously fans would have been irate over that. And then they had pretty much no other money tied up. And with how competitive the division is this year, they went the complete other way and they got Dombrowski and they said, we're going to go for it. And they're prepared to spend money. So a big thing that I listened to on Talking Baseball with John Boy is that their start to the schedule is very hard. They have a very, very tough month and a half to start the season.
Yeah.
So basically that is going to make or break their season, because by the time that rough patch of the schedule ends, we're getting near trade deadline talk. And the Phillies, if they're going to win this division, they got to make a move. They got to go get a starter. I think they got to go get another bullpen piece. But yeah, they got Braves, they got Mets, they got Braves, they got Mets, Cardinals, Giants is a little bit of a break. So is Rockies, but then Cardinals again, Mets again. I'm pretty sure Braves again in May. It's tough all the way through. So one of the Mets or Phillies, their beginning of the season is going to hinge on those series. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I kind of want to compare the Mets.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, because now that I'm looking at this Phillies schedule, could you maybe see a big part of this division be determined almost in April?
Yeah, I definitely think so. Just because the NL East teams are playing each other so much at the beginning of the season. You could say that for any division, really.
Right. But this
the ground to be made up is going to become post-trade deadline time. So you kind of need to, like, if you're Dombrowski and the Phillies are below 500 at that month and a half mark, you're taking a huge risk if you're buying at the deadline.
Yeah.
But that's something they might have to do because they're cashing in. They're saying, this is our window. We want to win the division and go to the World Series. We're sick of being a non-playoff team.
Yeah. And you're looking at this. This is the Mets schedule right here. I mean,
Mets have it pretty easy in April, honestly. They get the Phillies, they get the Marlins. I'm not saying those are easy, but that's definitely not Nats Braves.
Yeah, I always look at, like, for like with the Red Sox in the past, like I always just get, even if like the Orioles are like a last place team, like I always just like get scared to death of going to Baltimore. You know what I mean?
You don't want to play at Camden Yards. You're gonna get lit up for 11 runs, man.
Yeah, like they could be a crappy team, but it's like, Red Sox are in town. All right, boys, like let's go. We're gonna play a little bit. Same thing with the Blue Jays over 2018. The Blue Jays were like,
hey man, that's why I'm happy that Michael Franco signed there. That dude just pulls and pulls, and as he's at Camden Yards, he's gonna
rip. And looking at the Braves right now,
let's see.
They got, the Phillies,
they got Cubs, Yankees.
Ooh.
Yeah, there's not a lot of breathing room in April for pretty much any of these teams.
April is going to be, it's just going to be right out of the gates, man. Yeah. Which I'm all about. I'm all about it.
Let's check out the Phillies roster. Let's see what they got going on.
Yeah, so for the Phillies, the
biggest thing with the Phillies is that I think that they retained pieces, which is what they needed to do. They needed to get Didi back and get JT back. But besides the bullpen, which I think is definitely improved, I don't think they improved enough.
I agree. It was funny. It was so funny with this Phillies team in the beginning of the offseason because you had the whole JT Realmuto thing. You're saying like, oh, we got no money. No, we're probably not gonna be able to bring him back. I knew they were gonna bring this guy back. Yeah, but then I
don't think any other team wanted him as badly as Phillies did.
Yeah, to me, like, if there was one, like a no-brainer of a guy that should re-sign with his team, it was JT Realmuto.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to me, they would have just, because they had no other guys that could have really like taken over.
Like Andrew Knapp, I think, which is just like that. You're not a division-winning team with Andrew,
right? Knapp. Like you're getting
Andrew Knapp's good, but he's not JT Realmuto.
Like if you're gonna let the best catcher in the game walk, you better have a backup plan.
Yeah,
like
and the backup plan
have that.
That's why I love the Mets McCann signing, because they basically just stripped the backup plan from a bunch of teams shopping for capture. They're like,
that's where I thought they were gonna do, because I thought the Mets. I think out of all my free agent predictions, I think out of all the teams. I'm not saying I was like the most correct, but like the way I thought the Mets were going to go, like just their strategy. A lot of people were like, oh, they're going to go they got this new owner that has all this money. They're going to get all these guys. I knew they weren't going to do that.
Yeah,
I
because
would
you
have been
can't buy a championship team. That's not how the Dodgers won their.
It's not sustainable. So like you got to kind of do a mix of things. You got to, yes, go get free agents, but you got to also worry about the future too.
Yeah.
And not be hindered by these big contracts. And they did go after Bauer. I figured they were the approach the Mets were going to take was, go get quality pieces, but not break the bank. Like to where
the thing with the Phillies, like if this season doesn't go well, Phillies fans have a very good right to be worried, because if you look at how the Tigers ended up after Dombrowski was done there, they've been basement dwellers for like 5 years.
Yeah. Hey, look at my Red Sox.
Yeah, like the future is going out the window because they want to win now. They've committed to that by hiring him, so they got to get it done.
Right. And so, as a Red Sox fan, we always want to, go get the big ticket players, but like, and I knew that wasn't going to be the right way to do it this past offseason. I mean, we're getting a little off here, but like, that's why I was like, okay, I trust in Heim. It's moving a little slow this offseason, but come on, let's make some moves. Yeah. And so that's why I'm glad we brought in a guy like a Heim Bloom, where he kind of started to revamp the farm, not revamp, but add some pieces again. But for the Phillies, you're right. It is going to be interesting. This is like one of those years where it's like, okay, well, if they're, an 82, 83, 84 win team, where are they going to go?
That's a failure.
Yeah,
honestly, that might be the worst spot they could end up in if they get like second place, not a wild card, with like 86 wins. You're bottom of the draft. A bunch of your guys are prepared to walk, and then what do?
You got
because you probably made a trade to get there. Yeah,
and it's like, what do you even? I mean, I don't know. It's like weird because it's like you just re-signed Real Muto, like we said, for what was it, 5 years?
It was a bag.
Yeah. So I think Dombrowski, I think he's going to figure some stuff out. The guy always tends to figure it out. So I think, they brought back Didi. The lineup is, if we're looking at the team right now, the lineup on paper is fantastic, in my opinion. It's great. Look at all these guys.
There's one guy that worries me, and that's Kutch, because Kutch hasn't played. Yeah. Kutch got the full season last year, but the full season was also 60 games, which is what he's been doing the past few years.
Yeah.
And once Kutch is injured, if he gets injured, I'm not insinuating that he's a lock to be. The next answer is Kingery, who has looked lost in spring training. Absolutely lost. They gave him the team-friendly extension. They believed in him a while ago. So he's with the Phils for a while. Yeah. And he is next up. I think him and like Hazley. But if Kutch gets injured, that's a huge hindrance, not only to your outfield defense, but also the top of your lineup. Because who leads off then?
Yeah, for me, I would imagine who would you even go with? Like,
you would have to go with whoever replaced him, I think. You can't go Segura. Segura's speed isn't there anymore, and Didi isn't really a leadoff hitter.
I would imagine, to me, like the I don't know, this might sound a little wackadoodle, but like if Kutch were to go down at some point, which cross your fingers, hopefully he's fine.
I love Kutch. I don't want to see him go down.
Yeah, so it's part of me would want to just throw Harper in there at the leadoff spot. You know what I mean?
They tried that before. That's been an experiment.
So,
he gets on base, and that's like what you want your leadoff hitter to do. So I don't hate the idea, especially because they have other middle of the lineup guys and Hoskins and Real Muto and all that.
Especially with
Bohm's gonna have a good season. I want Bohm to bat third, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah. Bohm, man. I think he's definitely a X factor kind of a guy.
Absolutely.
For this team, looking at him, and really good season last year.
Really good last year.
Yeah, really good.
The numbers are good. I don't even think they speak to how good he looked at the plate last year.
The one thing I look at the basic stat I always look at for like the young guys is just the on base. Like when I see a 400 on base for a young player like that, that's like
veteran plate discipline.
Yes. That to me, it's like such an overlooked thing. It's like, how are they, how many pitches are they taking? How many walks are they working? That's a mature player already. And then he just has that power potential too.
And having a guy like Harper that is an on-base machine, and that's what fuels his OPS.
Yeah.
That's important to have around these young guys too.
Yeah. So, we were talking about injuries with McCutchen, and, Didi is another one too.
Yeah.
Where, the guy had Tommy John, right? I think my mind.
At some point, yeah.
I think he had Tommy John after 2019 or halfway through 2019 or whatever, and that shut him down.
Yeah.
So, and then, he played a full season last year. I think he's going to be fine. I'm just saying there is that one little concern with him.
Yeah, I mean, his defense isn't what it used to be, but he still gets the job done.
Yeah,
Short, I think.
that's exactly how I've described him. Like he's not going to be the
He was
flashiest
still their
shortstop.
best option. I honestly thought for a second he'd go to the Reds, but the Reds obviously standard pat.
Oh yeah, like what you wanted the Reds to do this offseason, they just did the opposite.
Yeah.
So the Reds were a very frustrating team.
Very frustrating team.
But Didi, I think this is a very solid guy for this lineup. Hopefully he's healthy. I think it's a lot of, again, McCutcheon, health-wise, he's going to be good. Didi as well. I think he's going to be fine. I mean, he's past the surgery now. Gene Segura is another guy too, where his name was getting floated around there.
Met killer last season. Met destroyer.
Say that again?
Met destroyer. Very tough to watch.
Yeah, I mean, nothing crazy out of him. He had the 266 average, the 347 on base. I mean, pretty solid.
You can move him around too, which is nice.
Right. And so he has that flexibility there. I think this could be, he's a pretty underrated player on this team. Another guy you mentioned, Kingery, that's going to be an interesting one where it's like, what is this guy going to do? But we agree this lineup is really good. This lineup has the potential to be it's a division-winning lineup.
If you find them in a wild card game where they have Nola and Wheeler, you feel good about it. And Eflin's a solid number 3, but after that, man, Matt Moore, Chase Anderson, Vince Velasquez, I don't believe in any of those guys.
Really. I know. So moving on to the pitching now. So Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler. The one thing was Zach. I don't know, Zach Wheeler. Remember Zach Wheeler's name getting thrown around this offseason a little bit.
A little bit at the very beginning. That was before the Dombrowski hire, though.
Yeah, I'd love Wheeler to just get.
Wheeler's going to have to repeat if this team wants to compete. They know what they're getting out of Nola. Nola's like a top 10 pitcher in the league, in my opinion. But Wheeler has to continue his production if this team wants to seriously compete.
I'd like it, man, if he can get those strikeouts back up to like close to 9. They were.
You don't want tons of balls in play at Citizens Bank Park, especially if you're a fly ball guy.
Right. So I mean, Nola. I mean, there's not really too much to say about Nola. The guy's great. Strikeout numbers are there. Walks are decent. The numbers are there. The expected numbers are there. I think Nola's going to continue to be really good. But like you said, it's and Eflin too.
Eflin has been solid.
Yeah, I've when it comes to like breakout guys, Eflin is like one guy I keep seeing his name come around. I don't know if I really count him as like a breakout guy, just
he's
because
been, I think, consistently solid the past couple seasons. So they just kind of need him to be what he was. That's it.
Right. Like he's put up good numbers. So,
but you feel much better if he's like your number 4, not your number 3.
So, and I think that's actually good for a guy like him. Where how old is he now? He is 27. I mean, just going
still a young
time.
dude.
So I think it's good where you got these guys like Nola and Wheeler in front, where it takes the pressure off him a little bit. I think you could see him quietly have a really good year. And then a guy like Matt Moore, that's going to be interesting. I mean,
they took a flyer on him for, I think, $3 million.
Pitching in Japan last year.
He had good numbers in Nippon, but man, he's slated to make the roster. And that's very surprising to me.
I'm going to look up the stats for Matt Moore for this.
I'm also going to use the bathroom real quick.
Yeah, man, go for it.
You got to do it.
Yeah, man, I'll talk about Matt Moore here until you come back. But yeah, Matt Moore last year, pitching in Japan. If we go pull up the Japan stats real quick. So taking a look here, Matt Moore. Here we go. So last year, 2020, he had how many games did he pitch? He pitched 15 games overall last year in Japan. Did pretty good. 3.60 ERA. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong thing here. 2.65 ERA. So like Matt Moore a lot. If he can kind of get back to what he was doing. I mean, go back to 2013. This guy was, a big name going back to the early parts of the 2010s. I mean, look at if you look at 2013, the guy had an awesome year. He's 17-4 that year, 3.29 ERA, decent amount of strikeouts. How do I move this over? 2013. Actually, no, the strikeout numbers are not all that great. Never mind. I was looking at the wrong thing. But, Matt Moore, this could be a sneaky good pickup for them. This spring, right now, he's actually been pretty good. 4 games, 3 starts, 12 innings so far. He's only given up 1 home run, a couple walks. He's got, 8 strikeouts over 12. He's doing really well this spring so far. I think, Matt Moore, this could be, a pretty good
I'm back.
What's going on? This Matt Moore. I was just saying, Matt Moore could be a pretty good, 4-5 in this rotation if he can kind of get back to what he was doing. I was showing him, the stats.
I know his style is a little bit different now. Coming back from Japan, he kind of learned how to adapt to Father Time and losing his velocity. But
right,
man, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're just going for it with him, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get anything out of him, it's a plus. And then, getting a guy like a Chase Anderson,
Chase Anderson got rocked when he was on the Jays. I do remember those games.
Yeah. To me, this was a guy that even before going to the Jays, he wasn't a guy that he couldn't really go deep into games. Yeah. He was like a 4 or 5.
He fit the Brewers mold very well because they had 8 starters.
Right,
at some point, 8 serviceable starters. That was like their NLCS run, I remember.
Yeah.
So he worked in that mold perfectly. But if you're relying on him to eat innings over 162 games, I wouldn't count on it.
Yeah. So, he's going to be the 5 guy. And, it's going to be like almost the way I look at him, he's like an opener kind of.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't go deep. So that's going to be like more of a bullpen day. But yeah, I think the Phillies, and then you got like a Vince Velasquez too. I got so many tabs open right now. Oh my God.
Plenty.
I can't even I don't even know where I'm at. Here we go.
Yeah, I think the Vince Velasquez experiment might be over.
Yeah, they're looking at him for the bullpen?
He's not slated to make the starting rotation right now.
I think he. So right now they are. So he has a strained oblique as of right now.
He's injured as well.
So
Spencer Howard, someone just threw out in chat, is like one of their top prospects, who I actually am pretty high on. He could be an X factor for them.
Spencer, yeah, absolutely. And I've talked about. I did a video on Spencer Howard
nice.
like a few weeks ago. I think he could be an X factor kind of a guy.
I kind of need him too. I think if he's good, and then your 1 through 4 is Nola, Wheeler, Eflin, him, I'm okay with that. You can kind of roll with that.
Yeah, Spencer Howard's got that nice little changeup, man.
Yeah,
if you can,
very sneaky.
Yeah, he's very good. Again, he was having those growing pains. Last year he came up. How many starts did he have last year? If we take a look,
he had like a cup of coffee, nothing crazy.
Yeah, I mean the ERA.
He still qualifies for rookie this year.
Yeah, so he was basically like a Nate Pearson last year, where he came up, he had some starts. Just wasn't very productive. But what else are you going to expect from a rookie starting pitcher? So he had the 6 starts, the 24 innings last year. ERA, FIP were both high, but that's learning the game, and that was without a spring training.
The big improvement though is their bullpen. I do believe in this Phillies bullpen a little bit more.
Yes, I actually think the weakness that they had last year, even the year before that, this Phillies bullpen, I think could be a strength. There's the
wrong move would have been them going out, getting Brad Hand and calling it a day. The right move is what they did, which is what they got 4 to 5 serviceable arms that can eat innings for them. They got Alvarado, they got Archie Bradley.
Love Alvarado.
They got I'm forgetting who else they got. Brandon Kinsler.
They got Coonrod too.
Coonrod.
There
was one other name that I'm not remembering. I think it was a minors deal.
It was. Did you say Kinsler?
I said Kinsler.
They got Archie Bradley, Jose Alvarado, Kinsler. They had Coonrod. They got David Hale in a trade.
Yeah, none of those names started ringing a bell, but I do like their bullpen more than I have in a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. And I love the Archie Bradley move. Thought that was good. I love the Jose Alvarado move. I thought that was great. Guy
so
just throws gas. I thought that was really good.
I can't believe the Rays let him go.
Yeah, I'm not going to doubt the Rays because, the Rays, they make the moves that they know what they're doing over there.
Yeah, they know what they're doing. Tony Watson, someone just said in chat. Tony Watson, great left-hander. Aged a little bit, but he's still going to be good.
Yeah, I mean, they have some decent projected numbers. I like the back 3 that they have here. They got, the Alvarado, Bradley, Neris.
Yeah.
So could you maybe see who do you think is going to get the majority of the save?
I think probably Bradley because he got the bag. I think it was like $6 million. I think they need to get Neris out of the 9th inning. His numbers are a lot better when he's not pitching in the 9th.
Yeah.
He's a 1-pitch guy, like most relief pitchers anyway, but I just think he's not suited for that type of pressure. And if they can get him out of there and get him into his comfort zone, Neris can be a good pitcher. He's had good stretches in his career.
And does Bradley still got the awesome beard, man?
Yes, I think he's still rocking it, which is good.
Then that's already a good sign, So I'm just saying, man, good beard. It goes a long way, man.
It goes a long way.
He had a pretty good year last year, 2.95 ERA, lower FIP. He was good. I liked him. I thought the Reds were crazy to let him go. They could have had him back for like what?
I think a ton of teams were crazy for not being in on him.
Yeah, like I thought maybe the Yankees were in on him at one point.
I thought the Padres were just going to snatch him up because they were snatching up everybody.
Yeah. So it's like I could not believe the Reds just let him go. They could have brought him back for I think under $3 million or something like that, right? I think they could have tendered him.
The offers were not there on Archie Bradley. I know that.
Yeah. So I don't know, but for the Phillies though, I think this is going to be a good team. It's again, it's such a competitive division where actually I haven't even pulled up the projected standings. I've been doing that for each team. So let's take this is the Fangraphs projection.
Okay, cool.
And I'll pull up. I've been pulling up Dakota too. So let me close out some tabs. That's one problem I have, man. I cannot.
Yeah, too many tabs.
Control my tabs. Look at that. Still got Spencer Howard up there. All right. So this is what Pacoda had for the
Nationals in second with like 87. No, 85. That's what it was. 85. The Braves were just as soon as I saw 82 and 80 for Atlanta, I was like, I'm not taking these seriously.
That's what I'm saying. It's like weird how I mean they're going off algorithms. Like so that's what they have their algorithm. I'm not sure what the heck they do, but because there are some where you're like, oh, you know what, that looks kind of right, and then there's some where it's like, oh,
I think maybe the only accurate thing here is the Phillies at 83 wins.
Yeah, I mean,
the Mets are not going to win 96. The Marlins are not going to lose 94, in my opinion. The Braves are going to get first, and I think the Nationals are
that one's a little that's got some hate in there, man.
Yeah,
come on, at least give them a 1% chance.
Come on, they made the playoffs last year, and they have pretty much the same roster.
Yeah, so. We'll talk about the Mets here in a second, but I don't mind that. I don't mind the 96, huh? I kind of like it.
Maybe a little less. Obviously, I love it, but I just I'm tempering my expectations.
I'm always high on the Mets, man, just like everyone is.
I appreciate it.
I will not get off of that bandwagon. Every year I had the Mets last year getting the second wild card. And that
wasn't a horrible bet last year because the year before they were 86 and 76. They were 10 games above 500. So they just tailspun last year.
Definitely, it's like you are kind of right about. It's like weird how it just feels like this Phillies one just looks kind of right. I think I don't know. Is this more off of what we're seeing on paper, or is this more of what we've kind of seen in the last couple of years?
They've proven that they're not a below 500 team, but there's not enough here to lead me to believe they're going to get a wild card spot.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's really tough. They're going to have a lot of things go their way. Good lineup.
Yeah.
I think that they're top heavy in the starting pitching. There's not a lot of depth. That's another thing too. It's just like the grind of a season. You know what happens if a Wheeler goes down?
You could say the injury thing for pretty much any team, but when the team is so top heavy in their rotation,
exactly.
Like the Nationals, when it's like kind of your forte. Yeah. If an injury happens or somebody is not good productively, whatever. Right. It's just such a huge detriment. It slows you down in such a competitive division where you have to keep up every day.
Yeah, so that's what kind of worries me is they are top heavy with their starting pitching. I mean, you could have an Eflin really emerge as like a guy, a Matt Moore maybe, but it's just what ifs, Yeah, and the bullpen. I mean, we like the bullpen and we like how it looks on paper. But at the end of the day, they're still going to have to produce.
Yeah, and I think the reason why I endorse the Marlins more than the Phillies and the Nats is because I feel like I know what I'm getting out of the Marlins, and I don't really know what I'm getting out of the Phillies and Nats.
I can't stand the team, or it's that's what makes it fun too. You don't know what you're going to get, and I like that too. Where it's like, can I at least have some kind of an idea of what this team's going to be? This Phillies team, there's upside on this team. Personally, I think could they be like a trade deadline, like a buyer maybe? If they're I think
with Dombrowski at the helm, you can count on it, even if
that's what I'm saying. Well. Because Dombrowski's made those moves, especially with the Red Sox in 2018. He made a couple of moves. They have buyer potential for the trade deadline. It's again, are they gonna fall short? It's and again, this is like I said earlier, it's a division winning lineup. It's just this starting pitching. I don't know. It's not deep.
It just is.
But all right, everyone, let me know what you guys think. Let us know what you think. Where do you think the Phillies are going to finish?
First, I got them at fourth.
Third? You got them. You said fourth?
Fourth place.
All
And I
right.
think we'll do Mets next because I do still have to bounce by 9. If that's okay with you, sir.
Oh shoot, yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's do that.
Don't mean to rush you, but I definitely want
We're,
to
we're,
get the
we're
Mets
just
talk
having
in.
good
Yeah,
conversation here.
man.
It's
Sometimes
like,
time just
wow,
flies by. Let's
we're
see,
already getting
4th, 3rd, 5th. I'm seeing all okay. So I'm glad that there's kind of a consensus in chat that the top 2 dogs are going to be Braves Mets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. I
One of
think
these
that
teams could definitely surprise us, but I think if you want to hedge your bets and put your money somewhere safe, it's Braves Mets.
yeah, I agree. And so let's move on to the Mets here.
Let's do
Here
it.
we go. So Mets. There we go. New York
baby.
Mets. There we go. Look at that blue.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
baby.
So the New York Mets, what an offseason for them.
What an offseason.
Crazy offseason. I mean, they, in my personal opinion, I think they won the offseason. You want to win the actual season instead of the offseason. But they had as good of an offseason as you can get. I got to ask first off, what did you think about Trevor Bauer? What did you think about that?
Well, in the early goings of my channel, I made a video called 10 Things That Steve Cohen Needs to Get Done.
Yes.
And way back, I was way higher on the Trevor Bauer train than I am now.
Yeah.
For a couple reasons. One, I had never seen a Trevor Bauer YouTube video. I didn't know really that the channel existed, and I was like, okay.
Wait, so hold on a second. You never saw the Trevor Bauer rap songs?
No, never.
Ooh,
that was before they got dug up. But the other thing was that was before I discovered the AAV request of 40 mil. And when I realized that they would have to pay him more than they paid DeGrom, that's when I kind of hopped off the train, especially when the trade for Lindor happened. I was like, we made our blockbuster move. Now let's just go get other pieces that solidified the depth.
Right. It's they had just a really good offseason. I mean, I think if you got a Bauer, it was funny because I felt like I saw more Mets fans were kind of it seemed like there were more Mets fans that were okay with not getting him. So
yeah, I think as time went on and the drama of the whole situation progressed, Mets fans just got kind of turned off to the whole thing because we've been locked into so many horrible max contracts before that the way that this was going on and being portrayed, it just reeked of that. It just reeked of like a bad 4-year deal that we'd be stuck with.
Yeah, that whole it was dragging on, man. Yeah. I think a lot of, I've said this a couple of times on my streams where they got to do something about the off season. Like I always look at the NBA off season and I just look at how fun that is.
They just go. They just move. It's so nice.
I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know if it's like, I don't want to say like you got to put a deadline because it is these players, so livelihoods and whatnot too.
Of course.
But like, I think not having the winter meetings this past year, I think maybe that kind of maybe played into a bit of that.
I think a ton of deals usually get done there. So yeah, I definitely agree with you there.
So, it could have just been this off season, but the Bauer thing, it definitely dragged on, and the guys have signed that late before. Like you had Harper and Machado sign later when they signed. But the whole thing with Bauer, though, was that it was like, it's Trevor Bauer. He has the whole social media thing.
Yeah.
You didn't hear anything with Harper or Machado. Like,
no, Harper was like to the wire, dead silence. Like,
yeah. And you had no idea with Bauer. It was just like, all right, here, tell me why I should go to this team.
Yeah.
You do the
and selling merch for different teams.
Dude. So it was just a little too much, a little too long. But hey, whatever. We're talking about the Mets here. So
Dodgers were the right landing spot for him, though. I will say.
Say that again.
Dodgers, I think, was the right landing spot because I think they both get exactly what they need.
Yeah.
Bauer gets the LA market. LA gets the best rotation in baseball.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It would have been fun to see him on the Mets, but I think the Mets are going to be fine just without him. On Fangraphs, projected 92-70 this year. First place finish. Braves.
Wow, Fangraphs has him at first too. Dang.
Yeah. And then when we look at Pacoda, they both agree first place finish for the Mets. Pacoda a little more friendly. They're not as friendly with the Braves, though. So,
I will say that I don't love picking teams that look sexy on paper. Another good example of this is the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah.
I still think the Twins are the team to beat in the Central, and I still think the Braves are the team to beat.
I feel that way. I think you could say the White Sox. Again, we're talking about NL East here, but if I were to, get off or go off,
they're comparable, these two teams, so I think it's okay.
Yeah, I feel like the White Sox, to me, they are a better playoff team, built for the playoffs better. But the Twins, I think, are built better for the season.
Yeah, they're a regular season juggernaut.
Yeah, so and then and the Twins will do what the Twins do, and they'll lose in the playoffs. So,
of course.
but yeah, that's this Mets team. I do like the way this Mets team is constructed. Oh, we're seeing a super chat.
Oh, nice.
Man,
Let's
I gotta
go.
get to the comments from David Knight.
David Knight.
Oh man, thank you so much for that, David Knight. Really appreciate it. 6K, man. I'll tell you, you like exploded with the subscribers, which is awesome. I saw your channel. The first video I saw, I think, was
we were there early because I remember we talked about the Red Sox getting Ottavino, I think.
Yeah,
when I did a Tanner House video.
It was funny because I was standing at recess watching my kids run around like freaking mad crazy kids, and then my phone buzzed, and I'm like, "Oh, look, hey, Jolly Olive said something." And I'm like, "Oh, we got Ottavino!" And
so I broke the news to you. I like to see it.
I was like, "What?" And I'm like, my teacher friend was talking to me. I'm like, "Can you please shut up for 1 second?
A moment.
I don't care about your math lesson plans today. I need to know what's going on with Adam Ottavino."
Exactly.
So, but yeah, man, I remember I was sending people your way because I was like, "This is good stuff." Yeah, I will say we were like just cruising right along with the subscribers. Like we were just going, and then the past month we just hit a wall.
Yeah, it's been slow the past month, but I think once your season's underway, you'll pick back up. You'll be fine.
I'm hoping so. It'll be fun. But David Knight, I appreciate that, my friend. Thank you so much. It is just nice to see the 6K instead of the 5.9.
Oh my god, that must be agonizing.
It's like, God, just give me the 6. That's all I want. But here we go. Going back here again. Thank you, David Knight. Really appreciate that. But for the Mets. I mean,
the Mets.
I mean, let's start off with the lineup. I mean, you're getting Francisco Lindor, but to me, it's just so much more about than just Lindor. I think he's going to be an awesome piece, but I just like every
way of describing it. Yeah,
like it's they just have in my opinion, they just have guys that can do different things all over the place. So
the Mets finally have a team. The Mets in 2019 and other times where they were supposed to be successful were built on a few big names, a solid rotation, an iffy bullpen, and that was kind of it. And for the first time in a while, they have multiple guys that can play different positions. They have such a deep bench with Guillorme, with VR, with Almora, with Pilar, and they have, in my opinion, the best lineup of any team in the East, including the American League. I think they are just the most well-rounded team. A great balance of right and left-handed batters. They got Frankie Lindor with the switch, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And I just love that, like, the defense, which has plagued the Mets, I would argue more than their bullpen has in the past few years, is finally going to not be an issue.
I think one of the biggest things the Mets did this past offseason was, I mean, you can't do you even call it something that they did, but losing Cano.
Oh my God, it was such a blessing to free up.
I know. It's like
so huge.
Yeah, like as a Mets fan, was that the happiest you had ever seen for someone testing positive?
Like, don't get me wrong, I popped off for the Lindor cookie trade, but I cannot describe to you, and I would never root for a player to fail, obviously, but I cannot describe to you the relief when I saw on my phone that Cano did steroids again, and all this money was getting voided, and I didn't have to worry about him eating up at bats or anything like that.
Right.
Perfect scenario. Perfect.
Well, they had like this clog where it was like you had like, McNeil out there, but now it opened. Now you can move McNeil to second, and now you can move Dominic Smith out to left.
If McNeil is ever going to hit that MVP ceiling that some people think that he can have, he needs to be in one position. They had him bouncing between second and third and left and right, and even some short. It was getting ridiculous. Like, I'm glad that he's just going to play second, which is his best position.
Yeah, so I agree. For the one guy I am going to pay attention to is Pete Alonso.
Yeah, really strong end to last season.
Yeah, I mean, he had himself quite a few home runs last season. Yeah. He hit a bomb
on pace, I believe. He's taken a lot of good at bats in spring trainings, and not swinging at pitches he was chasing last year.
Yeah. The one image I have of Alonso this spring was him with that 22 pitch at bat.
Yeah.
Just him right there, just so into it. And that's I think Alonso, he's obviously going to bring tons of power, but he's just going to bring that chemistry to the team.
Like, really, Lindor was the big marquee move, but I still think that this is Alonso and Dom's team. And it's just so awesome because these guys were competing for the same position.
Right.
And now they're basically like the de facto captains of the team. They're sharing time in the lineup, which I think is awesome. Like, Dom in left field sucks. I love a universal DH. We didn't get it. Right. But still, I would rather have him out there and left.
Yeah. And then, speaking of Lindor, a bit of a weird season last year. The on base was pretty consistent with what it's been. The average was a little lower. It seemed like maybe he was starting to figure it out towards the end of the season a little bit. He was getting a few more hits. But the offense, as you can see here, the offense did dip off last year. The offensive runs above average. But, I think you kind of wonder, too. I wonder how much of like all the trade talks and everything were a bit of a distraction.
Oh, I'm sure. And he himself admitted in the offseason that he didn't give it his all in 2020.
Right.
And, same regimen, his same workouts, anything like that.
Especially just because of the year that it was, too.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think Lindor, I think you're going to see him have a very fine season. I think he's in a spot where he can breathe. I mean, they got to get this extension done.
He got 8 days, man. I'm worried about it. They offered him $300 million. I think he wants a little bit more.
I think they're going to get it done because it's like you're not going to bring this guy in and and you're not going to bring him in for a rental.
No.
You got to. They'll get something done.
I think they both the Indians is honestly not that bad.
Yeah, they'll get it done. So we were talking about Trevor Bauer earlier. One of the early moves that they made, which kind of surprised me a little bit, was the Marcus Stroman move. What did you think about the Stroman move?
Loved it. I think it was probably. I mean, I never expected them to get Cookie in the first place. That was the best pitching move that they made. Yeah. But the Marcus Stroman move was essential because one, it was a qualifying offer, so it doesn't hurt you that much.
Right.
And two, Stroman looks up to DeGrom so much and is already taking so many things from him, like in a learning experience, that I think Stroman, it might, if he stays healthy and keeps talking his talk or whatever, he's due for his best season, man. I really do think so.
Yeah, the guy just he has to stay healthy. That's the big thing.
Gotta stay healthy. Big thing for all Mets teams, really. That's always been a thing.
That's for any player, but for him, he was getting plagued. What was it, the calf?
The calf.
The calf. So, he didn't even pitch at all last year. So
didn't pitch it, had some games in 2019, but definitely not as many as you'd like to say.
Yeah. Is there even a point to even talk about DeGrom? I mean, the guy's nasty again. I'm picking him Cy Young. I
already locked him in.
I haven't made my predictions. There you go. There's a sneak peek into my predictions, everyone. DeGrom.
You'd be silly not to.
Young pick. So, kind of the Taiwan Walker, bringing him in. That's interesting.
He had a solid 2020. I mean, he bounced from coast to coast. He went from Seattle to Toronto, and his production was great. I know he's a guy that outperforms his FIP a little bit. But he's still young. If he can stay off the injury bug, which has plagued him throughout his entire career, I think that he's going to be awesome as a number 4, number 5 guy.
Yeah, and that's the good thing with him is that he can kind of just come over here, and he's not going to have a lot of pressure on him. Yeah. He kind of just do his thing, and he can just go out there and pitch.
And for the first time in so long, say the Taiwan Walker experiment doesn't go to plan, there are guys behind him. We have a next man up situation. We have David Peterson, we have Joey Lucchesi, we have Jordan Yamamoto, who got demoted today despite having a fantastic spring.
Oh, really?
And there are other guys. Yeah, so he's not making the opening day roster, surprisingly enough.
Yeah.
But still, there are guys that are next in line, which is awesome. Very comforting.
Yeah. And then, if you're looking at the minor leagues too, probably not going to see, definitely not going to see a Matthew Allen.
These guys are a little bit far away, but I feel really good about where our farm is, especially considering the way it got destroyed by our old GM. Absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, you got one guy in Zapucki. I think I'm pronouncing that right.
Yeah, Zapucki.
So you could see him maybe this year.
Yeah, that might be if injuries are piling up. I think you'll see.
Yeah. Him. So but I think one good thing for a successful team, I think I say this a lot on my streams. For me personally, it's just depth. Not just major league depth, but guys that can come up in the minor leagues too, from the minor leagues and contribute in some way.
The 2 Ds, in my opinion, depth and defense. Those are hidden keys to it.
Yes, I like it. Ooh, double Ds. Ooh, I like it a lot. But one guy I actually like the Lucchesi move. I thought that was
Lucchesi move. We really snuck our way into that trade.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I liked it a lot.
It was like Musgrove to the Padres, I think, was the trade, and we just kind of weaseled
the third team. Which
we weaseled our way into that trade and the Benintendi trade and got 2 solid pieces out of it without getting up much. Yeah.
And I think a lot of people because they were so focused on Musgrove. I was like, okay, Lucchesi to the Mets. Oh, I'm okay with that. That's pretty decent. I mean,
listen, he battled some injury last year.
Yeah.
In his healthy seasons, he's like a 4 ERA guy.
Yeah.
But if he can get that one key pitch, which is like his changeup curve, they call it the
Yeah.
churve. If he gets that working, the dude is real. Like his good games are fantastic.
Yeah.
But again, it's like the weather has to be right with that pitch, I think. So that
Yeah.
remains to be seen.
Again, it's gonna be a nice back end guy. The bullpen, it's interesting. This bullpen, I like the Trevor May move. Like that.
It's every year with this bullpen. Every year, this is the story.
I mean, can Edwin Diaz just get it? Can he just put it together? What do you think?
I mean, he put it together last year. I mean, he had a solid 2020. And if you take away, right? If you take away the meltdown against the Yankees and the Ozuna home run against the Braves on like the second game of the season, he's maybe the best closer in MLB.
So did he get back? So help me out here. Did he get back into the closer role by the end of the season?
He had it at the beginning actually.
He had it at the beginning.
I didn't endorse. And then they kind of rotated him and Lugo, but then Lugo had to go in the rotation, which I didn't support. And that's why I think he's a little injured now. But the Mets don't want to do closer by committee, which again, I think every team should do closer by committee, especially when you have Seth Lugo and Trevor May and all these nice options. But I think that obviously it's go time for all these Mets, but it's go time for Edwin Diaz. There's no slip ups. And I think if you're in May, sort of like we talked about with the Nationals with Carter Kieboom, if you're in May and Edwin Diaz is doing his 2019 skit, then he's out. He's going to get yanked.
Oh, I could see it even in April. I mean,
maybe even because there's just no time to lose ground with this division.
No. Oh yeah. It's like we said earlier, this is the one division where it's like, it's super competitive. And like I could see, blows a save, like let's say first game, first opportunity of the season, blows it, maybe one more chance, and that's it.
I mean, the string will be tight, but what I can say is that the depth here is probably the most improved in terms of depth overall. The Miguel Castro trade, really underrated by Brody. I'll give him that. Because he's looked really good in spring. Knockout slider, really good for your seventh inning. Aaron Loop, who has playoff experience.
Yeah, I like that.
Before. Yeah, you got to get guys that have pitched at the show and know what the pressure's like.
Yeah.
They got a ton of guys in the – they got Jacob Barnes, Arodys Vizcaíno, a bunch of these guys that can come up and down. But the biggest things are going to be can Dylan Betances and Jerry's Familia not be horrible, which it's not looking like because all they've been doing in spring training is walking guys. Right. And can Edwin Diaz be the closer that everyone expects him to be? And I think if those two things come true, the bullpen that held the Mets back in 2019 from making the playoffs will propel them to the playoffs in 2021.
Yeah. I actually really liked the Trevor May move. I like that they got it done early. That was one thing that I loved.
A lot of good faith. And May talked about on Chris Rowe's rotation about how he wasn't getting a lot of offers early on. Yeah. And the Mets came in and just laid it out, threw the hammer down, and said, "We want you in our bullpen."
That's what I was saying. Like with the Mets, I think they just had a plan going in. They're like, "All right,
you can tell, man. Yeah. Everyone they went after, they got pretty much except Bauer."
Yeah, and they didn't go after the top guys. You know, they went after Bauer, but they
didn't need to.
They didn't need Bauer. That was like an icing on the cake kind of a move. But I love that they went after May and they just got him. Gave him a nice little contract, 15 over 2, I think.
I think 2 or 3. I forget which one it was.
But 3?
His K per 9 from 2020 was something like 16.
Yeah.
So the dude is heavy slept on. It's going to be super important to this team.
Yeah. And his XFIP is a 2.74. That outperformed the FIP.
Yep.
Yeah, I like him a lot. He can give up some hard hit balls. Baseball Savant doesn't like him with the hard hit percentage very much.
Sure.
But hey, you know what? It's just another arm that's just going to take some pressure off a little bit. And overall, I mean, I think this Mets team, I think they are capable of winning it all. I think
I don't want to put those thoughts in my head. But I think that the ceiling for this Mets team is losing in the NLCS to the Dodgers, I think.
That's kind of where you can see them going that far. Yeah. You definitely could see them going that far. It's a matter of, are they going to be able to get past, they're capable of getting past the Dodgers or a Padres
Can the Mets not beat themselves this season?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Another thing to add, too, I also really liked the Albert Amora and Kevin Pillar signings.
Me, too. I'm glad that we went from 0 center fielders to 3 with the
two
VR
good
Pillar
defensive center fielders. So What do you like? I was kind of wondering, were they going to do something with Nimmo this past offseason, or like move him to
I know
left?
Nimmo and Davis have been grinding their defense to be serviceable, so I think they'll be okay being in the everyday lineup.
Hopefully.
And I know that injuries derailed the Mets in prior years because of no
Yeah.
depth, and that's not going to be an issue anymore.
Yeah.
The biggest thing for the Mets, I think, is that now they're going to be able to make late game subs with these defensive options. That which is in turn is going to help out their bullpen, which gives up a lot of balls in play.
You know, and I like that. I like that they have some depth now. They have some flexibility now.
Yeah, they have options. I love options, man.
Yeah, it's good.
Give me options over Trevor Bauer and George Springer. Honestly.
Yeah, I like it a lot. So, what do you guys think in the chat, everyone? Do you think this is a division-winning team? Where do you think? Wild card? Let me know what you think in the chat. First, second, third. Could they maybe just fall off the face of the planet?
It could happen, man.
And
it definitely could. I'm not ruling it out. I've been a Mets fan too long to rule it out.
I mean, it's possible. I mean,
We're
I'm
a
still
week away.
For Red Sox to.
My body is ready.
Nahawan going third.
Wow.
Nicholas with second. Jimmy K with a wild card, so second, I think. Wild card.
Yeah,
AJ Ayala first.
I have them in the wild card game with the Padres currently.
I think that's a lot of people. A lot of people are going Mets Padres.
Right over their over-under, which is 90.5. I have them at 91 and 71.
Yeah, I don't know. I gotta, again, my predictions this weekend. Gonna do a lot of meditation and try and think of what the heck.
Do some hard thinking, man.
It's gonna be interesting because
I made a mistake and I laid out my Excel sheets and then I did it on the spot, and doing it on the spot is no fun. No fun.
My kids will be in class, like working independently, and they think I'm doing like, emails and stuff to parents. And because that's what I'll tell them. They're like, nope. I'm actually working on my predictions.
No big deal. You guys can know as long as you tune into the stream.
Yes. So we're seeing a lot of first and seconds, a lot of wild cards. But yeah, Rocky Adams said too in the chat, Mets Padres wild card game. I think a lot of people are going with that for the wild card game.
And then you get a Darvish DeGrom face off, which is going to be awesome.
I'm going DeGrom all day. I will always pick DeGrom.
Well, I'll always pick DeGrom too, but man,
I will never go against
is a nice one to throw up against them.
I wanted DeGrom to win the Cy Young last year. Yeah. He had some
wasn't
better
going to happen though. Numbers. He didn't have the money stats.
I know. The expected numbers that we like, they were better, but they're expected.
So he doesn't care about him.
But alrighty, man. Well, it is 9:00.
I didn't even realize. Hey, Robbie, thank you for having me, man. I had a blast.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming out, man.
Guys, if you're not subbed to Robbie, make sure you do it. Dude just hit 6K, deserves a lot more.
Yeah, man.
Hopefully MLB regular season treats you better because this has been a great stream.
Yeah, man. This has been fun. I mean, what better person to talk to? You're like the Mets guy out here.
Mets guy, apparently.
I appreciate it, man. But yeah, we'll be talking throughout the season, man. I'm sure we'll hook up again. And but yeah, man, appreciate it. Have a good night, my friend.
Yeah, man.
And,
have a good night as well. Talk about the Braves. I'll see you guys next time.
See you later, man. Well, alrighty, everyone. We're going to get to the Braves just to finish things up here. Again, Jolly Olive, thank you so much for coming out tonight. But Michael Yench with another super chat. Thank you so much, my friend. No, my Padres will win the West. We will have to wait and see, my friend. We'll have to wait and see. Thank you for that. But let's talk about the Braves here. So let's go. All righty. Again, I'm using a different streaming service, so I'm still looking around here. All righty. Here we go. Talking about the Braves. Okay. Just making sure, everyone, that I got everything good. All righty. Are you guys seeing my screen? Are you seeing the screen? Oh, here we go. Here we go. So let's talk some Braves. Here we go. Okay, here we go. So I think you guys can see my screen now. Again, I'm a little delayed. All right, so, okay, we're good. All right, so with the Braves, a lot of people are picking this Braves team to win this division. It's a really good Braves team. I'm very high on this Braves team. I'm very high on this Mets team. I'm very high on a lot of these teams in this division. But this Braves team, it's a good team. It's very good. They were 1 win away from the National League, from the World Series last year, out of the National League. I mean, what is there not to like about this lineup? Look at Ronald Acuna right there at the top. Ozzie Albies, Freddie Freeman, the MVP last year. They brought back Marcell Ozuna. Travis Darno there. Dansby Swanson's only getting better. Austin Riley, a lot of power potential. Christian Pache looking like he's going to be the center fielder for the Braves. There is just a lot to like here. Hold on one second. How do I don't think you guys can see me this way. All right, let's just do that. So taking a look, again, the lineup is great. The projected numbers all over this lineup are just insane, just absolutely insane. I mean, Marcell Ozuna, bringing him back, he's projected for 35 home runs. Ronald Acuna projected 42 home runs. We were talking about Juan Soto earlier being, this MVP kind of a guy. Do not sleep on a Ronald Acuna Jr. for an MVP pick. I think Ronald Acuna Jr., he could really explode this year, and I think this is a guy, look out for him. I like Ronald Acuna Jr. a lot. Not liking the small screen. Is there a way? I'm just going to go full screen here, everyone, because when I'm doing it this way, it is a little small. So we're going to go full screen. That way you can just see everything I'm doing. But taking a look, the starting pitching, this was something they were very thin at last year, but now they are looking like they're going to be way better equipped for this year. I mean, there's a lot to like. I mean, you didn't have Mike Soroka last year. That was one thing that really hindered them last year. But he should be back at some point. I believe he's going to be back in around, I think they were saying June or so for him. Maybe I can't remember the exact time frame they gave, but it's going to be sometime before the All-Star break. But Max Fried, he had himself a really good season last year. Charlie Morton bringing in, I think that was a really good pickup for them. Ian Anderson had a really good rookie season last year. They brought in Drew Smyly. There's a lot to like with this rotation. A lot to like. I like it a lot. The one thing I'm a little iffy on is the bullpen. I think this bullpen's really good, but I feel like they're a little top heavy with their bullpen. Mark Melanson's not coming back, going to the Padres, so Will Smith will be the guy for that closer role as of right now. So if we take a look, Will Smith, he with the Giants back in 2019, he was really good. And then 2020, kind of, I don't know, something kind of just happened with him. I don't know, the numbers just weren't great. The FIP was really high compared to his ERA. So looking for Will Smith to kind of just get back to that 2019 form. Here we go. Back to the Braves. So, I mean, you got some other guys here too. Chris Martin, the Fangraphs is projecting him to be a possible closer as well. If we take a look, another guy they're not bringing back is Shane Green. So, but look out for Chris Martin as well. This guy had a really good year in 2020, the 1.00 ERA, a 2.36 FIP, really good strikeout numbers, 10 strikeouts per 9, kept the walks down, kept the home runs down. A lot to like from Chris Martin. I think this Braves bullpen is still, really good. I'm more worried about kind of the middle relief options. Can they bridge the gap to the back end? Will Smith, I do want to see Will Smith, if he is indeed the closer, going into this season, is he going to be kind of like that lockdown guy? They got a Chris Martin there too. I like AJ Minter as well. So if we take a look at AJ Minter, he had a really good year last year, 0.83 ERA, the 2.82 FIP. I mean, a lot to like. So there are good arms in this bullpen. I just wonder, are they going to put this bullpen together? Are they going to be a successful all-around bullpen? I think this team has all the makings to be a really good team this year. Let me come back to you guys here. How do I do this here? So I think this bullpen is really good. I think this offense is really good. I think the starting pitching is really good. They're going to need to rely on a guy like Mike Soroka. I think Morton, that's going to be, if they get to the playoffs, Morton is going to be a big piece for them in the playoffs. He's a big playoff game kind of a guy. I think that's going to be really big for them. I like this team a lot. I like the Atlanta Braves. I think this is a team that's more than capable of getting to a World Series. I personally think that they were one win away from the World Series last year. But are they going to be able to get through a team like the Dodgers or the Padres, or if they run into the Mets in the playoffs, are they going to be able to get by them? Where could you see the Braves? Do you think the Braves are going to be a division winner? Do you think they're going to be a wild card team? Do you think they just completely struggle this year? Third, fourth, fifth? Let me know what you guys think in the chat down below. Where do you guys think? I will be looking out for your comments. Let me know what you guys think. Where are the Braves going to finish? Nahawan's thinking first. Reese Jones with the first place finish. What else do we got here? Miguel Frica is thinking Will Smith a concern for the playoffs. But yes, William Fogum also saying that Smith has been really good this spring, so that's good to see. William, he's thinking World Series champions for this Braves team. I think this team is capable of getting to a World Series. So Soroka will be in the rotation as soonest than later. What is the time frame for Mike Soroka? So right now, MLB.com, as of 5 days ago. So they were saying here, the Braves have not set a timetable for his return, but it looks like he could join Atlanta's rotation near the end of April or during May. So that's a lot. That's earlier than what I thought it was. So definitely, I would imagine probably May. They're probably going to use that first month, kind of definitely give him that first month of the season to kind of finish off the rehab, get those rehab starts, and so on. So let's see what else you guys are saying. So you're thinking Edmund 19. You're thinking the Braves are going to win the East. I like this StreamYard thing. It's not bad. I like how it shows the little picture right there. It's pretty nice. So, okay, Soroka. Yep. So Soroka definitely looks like he's in line for at least end of April, at least. So, or at least even early May. But all right, everyone. That is the preview today for the National League East. Jolly Olive, again, thank you so much for coming out today. Really appreciate that. Awesome. That was the first time I ever had someone on the show. So I appreciate all of you guys, bearing with, kind of figuring it out a little bit. I've never done that before. So I might have to I had to sign up for a StreamYard account. That way I could get all the little extra things too. So I might end up keeping it, and maybe we can get some people on during the season. So everyone, I want to appreciate again, show my appreciation for you guys coming out today. I appreciate the super chats. Jolly Olive, again, I appreciate you coming out and talking, especially about the Mets. So, but already, everyone, again, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to start wrapping it up here. But tomorrow we will be talking about the last division in our division previews for before the season starts. I will be talking about the National League West tomorrow night. So be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for my predictions next week. Probably going to be doing a live show for that. So be on the lookout, everyone. Again, thank you so much for coming out. If you are new, hit that subscribe button. We just hit 6K. As of last night, we're trying to get to 7K now. So let's see if we can get there maybe by halfway through the season. So have to wait and see. Everyone, thank you so much. Have a great night, and I will see you all tomorrow night. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you later.